SMT Nation, we back. We're kind of working through our 2023 predictions in the series of videos. We did the Verizon video. I'll go ahead and link it in the description for you guys to check out if you missed it. What I did there was I highlighted all of the things that I think were going to happen as predictions for 2023 for Verizon. I want to do the same thing for AT&T in this video. All right, you're going to see me compare or connect AT&T and Verizon in a lot of ways in this video. And also, I'll connect T-Mobile as well because I think competitors drive directional movement and decisions at times. And I think AT&T is probably going to be one of those companies that is responding to its competitors. And I'll explain why. For starters, my first prediction for 2023. I think we're going to continue to see a huge emphasis on fiber. That's not really an outlandish statement. I'm not sticking my neck out. I'm not making some crazy, bold, hot take. This is 100% the direction of the company. They are fiber focused. They are home and enterprise ISP focused. They clearly are emphasizing the fiber to the premise or fiber to home, where they can, they do a really good job of converting those customers. All right, in places where they build fiber, they are very successful. I think their penetration rate is now into the upper 30% range. I think they want to be at or above 40% at some point, which I think CEO John Stankey has said in the past. In 2022, it was difficult to get there. It was easy to get to 30+%. It's been challenging trying to get it above 40%. All right, so that's going to be something that they work towards. But it is a very effective service. It has very high customer service satisfaction, I should say. People really enjoy it and like it. It's a great experience. It's reliable. It's all the things that people want from a home ISP. And I think it's decently priced. The explosive pricing model continues to be trouble in the home internet space, giving opportunities to fixed wireless as a competitor. But AT&T does have a good fiber product. Now, additionally, when it comes to enterprise, the deal with BlackRock Investment to form that joint venture service and infrastructure company as a wholesale operator of fiber, huge, absolutely enormous for them. That will be a big story of 2023. I think a lot of new investors will start looking at AT&T specifically on the whole fiber investment. What makes AT&T different than their competitors, meaning Verizon and T-Mobile, is the fact that AT&T is such a massive fiber owner. Number one in fiber miles run across the country. They're not only operating in their own footprint, but now with this whole Gigapower investment with BlackRock, they go beyond their 21 state footprint and puts them into new places, allows them to leverage sales in wireless too, right? It's a huge thing for them. I think that's going to manifest itself as a huge gain, whether it's wholesale, fiber to towers, fiber to home, whatever it is. It's going to be a big story for them in 2023. Investors are going to love this. They're going to eat it up. It's going to help and enhance AT&T's core business aspects as well. They've moved completely away from all things distracting. There's no more emphasis on media or even ownership of any media, right? I mean, they have like a stake in, some media stuff, but they're not operating it. There's no capex from the company going to it. They're going to focus on, paying off debt, reducing their debt load, and future operations in their core business. And I think John Stankey, the CEO, has really stabilized things. And now's probably a time where you look at AT&T a little bit differently than you have compared to the Randall Stevenson era. All right, so the ghost of Randall, no more. Additionally, I think besides the fiber focus, when you look at wireless, the promotions will continue to push the growth. Lots of net ads. They've got a relatively low churn rate. I think it's kind of become like the new Verizon in a way, right? Ultra low churn, resilient customers that want to stay there. They like the value proposition. You're giving new and existing customers the best promos on devices, and I think that'll continue to happen. And I see their retail operations as being still very competitive and strong. And people, qualify for discounts with fiber and wireless. That continues to be something they can leverage. I think that improves with time as well. More people getting on more fiber as it expands. We know about the markets in like say, for example, like the Phoenix market, I think it was Mesa or whatever, those markets in Arizona where AT&T dabbled with expanding the native footprint for fiber. We're going to see more of that in 2023. All right, so that's just going to help the wireless growth. Now, even though they're not primary wireless, I know it sounds crazy to say that they want to be primary fiber. They still are a very important wireless player. Are they as wireless focused as Verizon and T-Mobile? Obviously not, because it's not like the only thing they do. But man, they like with very little effort, they seem to thrive in wireless, and I don't think that's going to change. I think that's going to continue to be really good for them. Network wise, 5G plus C-band, you're going to see more and more of that upgrading going on. Their network is pretty modern. In my experience, they are the most capacitive and uniform modernized within the state of Ohio. T-Mobile's pretty modern too. They're still working through some Sprint keep sites and all those things. So I give the edge to AT&T, and I think in a lot of states that's the case. With the FirstNet contract, and I think FirstNet's going to continue to be a growth vector for them moving forward next year as well. Get more of the Verizon first responders on the AT&T FirstNet side of things. I think that continues. But their very modern network has created some really uniform capacity across the board. I actually think AT&T needs to fix and work on their metro areas more than ever. So I am predicting an improvement to the 5G plus. I think we're going to finally start to see some CRAN, some small cells that have N77. I think what AT&T has been waiting for is a single radio in order to aggregate both parts of the C-band, the N77, the lower frequency, the DoD, and the 3.45 gigahertz, and then the 3.7 gigahertz. They've got 40 megahertz of each of those, and they need to aggregate those on these small cells and macro sites. And that's got to happen on all devices, right? So upgrades need to happen. Firmware needs to be improved or upgraded. They've got to reach this point of network excellence, and they can't do it without getting all those tools working together. In my opinion, I feel like AT&T's lead engineering, has dropped the ball in 2022. I expect 2023 to fix those problems. Maybe it's just been in the plan the whole time. Maybe we've been a little bit hard on AT&T with respect to that. I'm just speaking to me personally. I don't want to speak for anyone else. I've been hard on AT&T, but I do think in 2023 they get that ball rolling, and I think we see more of the capacity and network excellence happening at AT&T. But it's going to happen through the CRAN, the small cells, the aggregation of the N77 channels, and they're going to deepen as well by the end of the year with additional spectrum. I think, with the launch of their SA 5G core, I think that's going to happen, and I think it's going to help them actually improve that whole entire experience. I think they're going to finish their top 46 PEAs this year. They'll be mostly done when it comes to the C-band. I think they're going to start the rural expansion. I think 2024 is going to be the year where they finish everything. AT&T can move very fast. They spend a lot of money, lots of CapEx. I think you're going to see a lot of that happening, going and moving out of urban and into rural America and suburban America where they can get those upgrades. They're, like I said, their tower sites are pretty modern, so I think they're pretty easy to upgrade. Right? I mean, like maybe spending 2-3 days on a site tops, get all the radios and the antennas up there, and move on to the next site. So I think their pace at which they can improve and build out their network is going to be pretty rapid. But I think it is going to be a year where they move beyond the urban core, but they do have to give the urban core attention. Verizon kills them in urban. T-Mobile kills them in urban. I think they're going to densify. I think that is something AT&T has neglected to do in certain places, and they've got to address that. I think they're going to do it. So with those upgrades, maybe some additional rooftop sites and CRAN, I think they get there. I'm very bullish on AT&T's network. I think it's going to be great moving forward. I think they're leaving a lot of potential out on the table when I look back at 22, but I think 23 is going to be a big year for them. I still think, this is my prediction, they're going to trail Verizon in total pops covered in C-band. I think Verizon is going to end up easily surpassing 250 million pops. easily. 260 million, 270 million. I think they're going to get there by the end of the year. I don't think it's going to be an issue. AT&T, on the other hand, based on where things currently stand, I'm going to take the Cleveland market out of the equation. I think the Cleveland market is like, when you look at the top 46 PEAs, they've got like a dozen markets like mine where they have accelerated the rate of upgrades and it's been really fast. But outside of those 10, 20 markets where they're doing that, Verizon's done that in like 50, 60, 70 markets. So generally speaking, I think AT&T will trail Verizon's, 5G UW build by about 10%, 15%. Even though AT&T's pace at times has been very impressive, I feel like Verizon has more urgency to upgrade, and that's how it's manifested itself. I think Verizon ends up around 260 to 275 million pops by the end of the year. I think AT&T ends up beyond 200 million pops. I think they're going to be more like 225 million, right? 230 million. I think best case scenario is 240 million. I think the base case is probably 220 million. We'll see if that's the case. I still think AT&T's network is going to be a formidable competitor compared to 5G UC with T-Mobile and 5G UW with Verizon because they own all their fiber, right? They want to be on like 75% of their tower grid on their own fiber circuits. And now with BlackRock, with the whole Gigapower business, it's more likely that they will reach that easily. And those are my predictions. Do I think there's going to be any downsides to AT&T? I mean, they still have a crappy billing system. I don't think that's changing anytime soon. I haven't heard anything internally that indicates a solution. That's going to take a ton of money and a huge overhaul. I don't think that's going to change. The customer care that frequently goes to other countries, I don't think that's going to change. I don't think any of that changes at any companies really. But that's kind of where I see AT&T. I think their network improves. I think they continue to be strong in retail. The fiber is going to be a big piece of what they do, and it helps them be distinguishable from the rest of the competition. And I think the year is going to be strong for them. What do you guys think? Comment down in the comment section below. You are the voice of the people, the SMT Nation. Let your voice be heard. Like, share, and subscribe for more, and turn on that bell notification icon to never miss an upload. Links are in the description for my Twitter handle, my Gmail address for all business inquiries. Big shout out to my YouTube members and my Patreon supporters. You are the GOATs. Thank you for supporting me on those platforms and making content on this channel possible. And I think that's pretty much all I wanted to say in this video. A lot there. Thanks for sticking around. Wish you all a happy new year. Be safe, be healthy, be wealthy. I wish you guys all the best. We will see you all on the next video. Peace.